You chose to hit play on this podcast today. Smart choice. Progressive loves to help people make smart choices. That's why they offer a tool called Auto Quote Explorer that allows you to compare your Progressive car insurance quote with rates from other companies. So you save time on the research and can enjoy savings when you choose the best rate for you. Give it a try after this episode at progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Ladies, you'll end up shopping for your guy's deodorant, right? So try Degree's Original Cool Rush. You see, last year, Degree changed the formula, and men were mad. One guy even started a petition. So Degree admitted they messed up and brought the Original Cool Rush scent back. It's clean, crisp, and actually smells like someone you want to cuddle. And it's in Walmart, Target, and other stores now for under $4. So toss one in your cart and find out why it's the best-selling men's antiperspirant for the last decade. Degree Cool Rush is back, and it smells like victory.
You're really campaigning for Bitch of the Year, aren't you? As defending champion, you're nervous? I can hold my own. You know, we've never really been close, which is nice because I don't really like you that much, but you have on occasion saved the world and stuff, so I'm gonna do you a favor. And this great favor is, I'm gonna give you some advice. Get over it. Excuse me? Whatever's causing the Joan Collins tude, deal with it. Embrace the pain, spank your inner, mop it, whatever. But get over it. Because pretty soon you're not going to even have the loser friends you've got now. I think it's about time you start minding your own business. It's long past.
Hello, and welcome back to Buffering the Vampire Slayer, once more with spoilers, a podcast where we are watching and discussing each and every episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, one at a time, for the second time. This time, with spoilers. She's the Watcher. I just work here. I'm Jenny Owen Youngs.
And if they hurt Willow, I will kill you.
Oh my God.
I'm Kristin Russo, starting off serious, season 2, like pulling no punches. Today we are discussing the first episode of season 2, When She Was Bad.
When She Was Bad was written and directed by Joss Whedon and originally aired on September 15th, 1997. Hey, our spoiler-free coverage of this episode originally aired on January 11th. 2017.
Jenny, you know how in the episode there was an under-over on when Giles would say he has to consult his books?
Yes.
I have won the bet against myself. There was no one else for me to play with on how far we would make it into the second season without a fucking air horn from you, which was under 5 seconds.
Just be glad I don't have a little soundboard over here.
You know, during our live events, I have a soundboard with the jingles. Maybe you should have one too, and it's just the air horn.
Maybe I just get an air horn.
Oh, God. This is the one, according to IMDb, where Buffy returns from summer vacation sporting an attitude and suffers, we'll discuss that summary in a second, suffers from recurring nightmares involving the Master. Meanwhile, the Anointed One and his followers plot their revenge.
Listen, say what you want about the larger context, but it's inarguable that Buffy is sporting an attitude.
Sure. It's just a particular summary, and I'll let you give our now infamous spoiler warning before I talk about some of LaToya's notes on this point.
Now infamous?
Yeah. To make something infamous, Jenny, you just have to say it's infamous, and then people will believe you, and off to the races you go.
Into every generation, a spoiler warning is born. We alone wield the strength and skill to discuss things from any of the following sources. All 7 seasons of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, plus the canonical Dark Horse comics, plus Angel the TV series and any related canonical comics, plus anything that currently exists inside of the Buffyverse, and also anything that may be announced or released as we go, don't tell us what we can't pod. And if you want a spoiler-free version of a Buffy podcast, because you're like, I just got here, I'm watching the series for the first time, or I, like Kristin, remember nothing from the previous 5 times that I watched the series, and I want to be surprised. Still, the gift that keeps on giving. You can listen along with our Buffering the Vampire Slayer coverage from 2016 to 2022, covering all 7 seasons, spoiler-free. You're welcome.
Also, during that time, we wrote songs for every friggin' episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and those songs play at the end of this run as well. And this time we have something special because after the song plays at the end of the episode, Jenny and I stick around and we talk about the making of that particular song.
I'll tell you what else is happening with the songs for each and every episode as we go. The amazing Addie is creating videos to pair with each of these songs, and you can find them on our swiftly growing TikTok. Maybe I should be.
Jenny texts me like every other day and is like, our TikTok is crazy. It's growing like crazy. And I'm always like, cool. And she's so disappointed in me for not meeting her level of enthusiasm.
And listen, everything's relative. We started from 0 and we've done almost nothing with TikTok. So don't expect to go to our TikTok and be bowled over by our numbers of followers or likes, but like a snowball rolling downhill, since we started posting these awesome videos that Addie makes, more and more people seem to be finding them, and that's really cool. But why should they have all the fun? You should watch them too. You were here first.
All right, so let me talk to you about this Buffy has a bad attitude thing. LaToya.
Ever since she was born.
Wow, I need one of those lamb hooks, shepherd hooks.
A crook.
A crook. I need a crook to yank Jenny off stage.
I'm awesome. I deserve.
Hey, no one said the lambs weren't awesome.
Perry
but sometimes they need a crook.
Stage elevator to lift me up onto the stage when I start doing stuff like that, rather than to be yanked off by my delicate little neck, which is barely holding on, courtesy of a green ribbon tied around it ever so.
I think that if you look, when we get to the end of this run of the series, you'll see a graph that peaks the listeners of Buffering the Vampire Slayer, and it'll go up to season 7's finale, 2022, and then slowly down a beautiful mountain.
Because of me or something?
No, just both of us. We've lost our minds. We're here in the spirit of chaos. First run, organization. Second run, chaos and air horns.
I'm here for both a good time and a long time, and I'm not going to let you or anyone stand in the way of that.
All right. Well, let me tell you about the reviews that this episode got. Not the reviews of our podcast episode. Hopefully we'll do a bit better. But when this episode came, or not even when it came out, right? Because some of these lists, reception-wise, are done after. But like Vox has ranked this episode at 111. For those of you who don't know the count, there's 144.
Wow.
So
there's a lot of really good episodes of Buffy.
Well, sure. But Rolling Stone similarly 103. And a lot of the negative reception is, I'm going to quote Rolling Stone, who said it was a strange episode, feeling almost uncharacteristic at times. They criticized Buffy's, quote, weird seduction of Xander, saying it's, quote, cruel, something that Buffy has never been before or will be again. Jenny's already mad. She's like flexing her fist over there. And so it's sort of, and I'm taking this from LaToya.
It sounds like these people didn't watch until the end of the episode.
Right. And, LaToya says a lot of critics basically took Cordelia's tactic, saying that Buffy should have just gotten over it, a point that only works when it's Cordelia saying it. Because there is a lot to unpack here. And this is LaToya as well, right? Buffy is the only Slayer to have died young and come back from that death. That's not supposed to happen. The Slayers aren't supposed to have to think about their deaths. That's for the Watchers and their journals. So Buffy being reckless in this episode, why not? What's going to happen? She dies. Oh, well, already done. No big. This is producer, Special Agent LaToya Ferguson. And I agree. I feel like the entirety of the episode is couched around the fact that this is uncharacteristic of Buffy. That's the point, guys.
Don't you feel like LaToya should have a wrestling name too?
Do you have one thought up, or are we summoning this from the listenership?
What sprang to mind immediately was the horror from Florida. But I can't remember actually how long LaToya was in Florida for. And you hate my name.
Wait,
that would be more of like a nickname, because LaToya would have to like have like a proper, okay, so you've got The Rock.
Sure.
But of course he is the people's champ, among other things.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. Sure. I think we should put it to the listenership. Your wrestling name, to be clear, is not Jenny the Enthuzor. That's your like battle name, right?
That's just my going through life name.
Okay. I'm
ready for a wrestling name.
If you have a wrestling name for any of us, any of the three of us, please write into hello@bufferingcast.com. Jenny, do you have big thoughts on this episode apart from Rolling Stone and Vox's pan of it?
This episode? No, I have big thoughts on wrestling. Yeah, I mean, she's back. She's back. And this is maybe perhaps the first time, right, that we get a glimpse into what's possible in the future. This is sort of like prelude to season 6 and prelude to a bunch of other stuff.
Right.
Prelude to the breakdown in season 5.
Mm-hmm. I think that last season I talked about how, the show does something sort of unique for a show of this nature, which is it takes things seriously. I think it was when Flutie died, right? It wasn't just like, Flutie died, he was eaten by hyenas. Oh, well, next episode. It was like that happened, but we saw the gravity of that actual thing happening. And I think that this episode starts the whole season off with that beat, right? Like, she defeated the master at the end, but we're not going to just go forward because that's actually traumatic. And we're really going to think about that. We're really going to take that to task and try to process it inside the bounds of the show. We're going to see the concern that her watcher has for her. We're going to see the love that her friends have for her. Like, we're going to use this traumatic thing to show this very real experience inside of a show that is fantastical and has monsters and demons and, all sorts of things. Oh, my.
Yeah, and I think we're also, coming back after the season break, but also the summer break from school. She's had like 2.5, 3 months for this to sort of, what do you call it when you're cooking? A sauce. And then it reduces, intensifying. Buffy's anguish has been on the stove, low and slow all summer long.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. So I'm watching the series with my current wife. In case you're very new to the pod, Jenny is my ex-wife, and I have a current wife. She also has a current wife, and Avanti has never seen the show.
Your current wife also has a current wife?
Oh, Jenny.
We've all got current wives here.
Yes, a lot of current wives. But she's never seen the show before, and so we're watching it together for the first time. And when it started, she was like, it's really like, I don't understand. It's like she just didn't have to be a Slayer over the summer. And I was like, I think that that's the only time that this happens in the series, because I have no other memory of like Buffy getting a break. I was so happy for her and also sad for her because I knew that it would never happen again. Well, I guess she has that one
until
the sad overalls escapist break between seasons.
We've got sad overalls, and then we've got the whole town being swallowed.
Oh, sure, the biggest break of them all. Yes.
Big break.
But, obviously it's couched on like, the master's gone. So the Hellmouth, in this episode, we're to believe that the Hellmouth has closed, but there's still mystical energy percolating underneath. Thank God. Otherwise, it would have been a 1-season show. And done. Jenny, do you want to hear beat by beat what happened last season on Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
Yeah, hit me.
Number 1, Buffy is a vampire slayer. Number 2, Angel is a vampire.
Ooh.
Number 3, Angel is in love with Buffy. Number 4, it's rather poetic. Number 5, there's a child called the Anointed One. Number 6, Buffy will face the Master and she will die. Number 7, she may be dead, but she's still pretty.
Oh.
Number 8, the master died. Cut to the cemetery.
I feel like we really didn't celebrate Buffy enough in the finale of season 1 for the precision required to throw the master through the skylight directly onto that big pointy splinter, which pierced his heart.
Yeah. And not to bring up my current wife again, but she did say we didn't count that as a stake of convenience. She says, pay attention to your shtick, and we picked up your shtick and then we dropped it. And so, yeah, stakes of convenience for the newly initiated are stakes that are not actually stakes. So that little pointy whatever would count as a stake.
A pokey tree branch, a broom handle broken over the knee,
a chair leg, a stake of convenience. So Jenny, get back on your fucking game. My current wife is watching you. A chopstick,
a pencil.
A pencil. Yes, we'll see a pencil for sure. Any other big thoughts on this episode before we dive in? Oh, I have one more big thought on this episode, which is we're seeing Sophia Crawford, who we interviewed. I actually flew down to Atlanta and interviewed Sophia and her husband, Jeff, who was the stunt coordinator at the time. And we'll link that.
And Sophia is Sarah Michelle Gellar's
Yes, I'm just talking
double.
Like everyone knows. Of course you know Sophia Crawford. Sophia Crawford is Buffy's stunt double for the first several seasons of the show. And she's phenomenal. Her work is phenomenal. The stunt coordination done by Jeff Pruitt is phenomenal. And I'm going to link that interview in the show notes. It's from years ago, but still very relevant. What I was going to say, Jenny, is you can really see, like, the show has come out swinging. We have like Cibo Matto. We've got a music drop by Alison Krauss. Like, they're putting money into shit second season. And one of those things is the fighting, but they haven't quite ironed out the particulars, because you can really see the Sophia, like you can really see the difference between Sophia and Buffy in a lot of the fight scenes that we see. And also, Sarah has not yet, like, as the seasons go on, Sarah gets, I think, much better at punching things and kicking things, right? She's getting better as a fighter as we go forward. And in this scene, there's, like, the scene where she's sort of very quickly punching the thing in the library when she's training and she's losing her mind because she's traumatized. And, there's so few little cuts of Sarah actually punching the dummy because she hasn't, like, perfected it yet, right? She's, like, going to be way better at punching shit by the time we get to season 7. So I just wanted to put a little pin there because it's fun to watch it now through a second time, knowing where we get and knowing some of the behind the scenes stuff that was happening with Sophia and Jeff and all of that work.
To the cemetery. At first I was like, a recreational cemetery stroll for these kids? But then I recognized that Xander's carrying ice cream. And you may recall that when we first saw Willow in a cemetery, she was on her way to go get some ice cream. So it's not our fault that one of the 12 cemeteries in Sunnydale, it literally 12, canonically 12.
Canonically 12. Oh, that's great for our maps research. Can we play the Hell Maps jingle?
Yes. Hell Maps.
So, okay, 12 cemeteries must be placed on the map.
There's Sunnydale Cemetery, Restfield Cemetery, and Shady Hill Cemetery. Those are the 3 that are named. This is none of them. And we don't know what the other 9 cemeteries are
Also
named.
a really fun project for our listeners. Please email us your names for Sunnydale's other cemeteries, hello@bufferandcast.com. We'll place them on the map. LaToya also had this note. She said, I was going to call Xander and Willow casually strolling by a cemetery at night white nonsense, but I decided to give them a pass as the cemetery count in Sunnydale is off the charts. It would be impossible for them to get anywhere without passing at least one cemetery.
Yeah.
So, okay, they're playing a game where you say a line from a movie and then the other person guesses the movie. I would be horrible at this game. I could have just
named the hat Indiana.
Yeah. I could have just watched the movie and you could say a line from that movie and I would still get it wrong. But Jenny, one of the movies that they quote in the few hours we had together, we loved a lifetime's worth, is from the movie Terminator. And I thought this is for us to redeem ourselves. Well, we'll never redeem ourselves, but this is for us to acknowledge our grave error just a few episodes ago, where both Jenny and I felt completely fine calling Sarah Connor Laura Connor. LaToya quit the podcast. We had to beg her back. She said, I can't work with people like you. And we said, we promise we won't do this ever again. So we're really holding on to LaToya just by a hair at this point. But we are so sorry to Sarah Connor for misnaming you in a previous episode. All respect to you, ma'am.
It was your fault that happened. Okay, so listen, Xander and Willow have been left alone all summer.
This is like, okay, so it's been a boring summer. Like, facts that we get from this exchange. It's been a boring summer. The Hellmouth has been quiet. Buffy's been away. Also, I included an important fact. Buffy sent Willow postcards from Los Angeles, which is the cutest fucking thing I've ever heard of in my life.
No postcards for Xander.
No postcards. So you don't want to lead him on, you know? You want to wait until you come back and you're really dealing with trauma to lead him on. And then this happens, this ice cream. This is a scene from Witness, a movie that I forgot existed. Would love to rewatch Witness. And Xander puts ice cream on Willow's nose and says, like, you can't fight back, right? And then what happens, Jenny?
And then he goes to clean it off with his mouth,
which, like, probably isn't a great way to start a first kiss. So I'm glad maybe this stopped, because I don't know. I mean, I just feel like you licking ice cream off my, like, maybe if there was ice cream like on my clavicle or something, but like my nose, it doesn't really work for me.
And then the nose wiping that goes on for like maybe just a click too long.
Yeah, exactly. And I just felt like, obviously we know, because this podcast has spoilers in case you missed that. We know that Xander and Willow are going to get entangled. But this scene I forgot about, and it's because I feel like this is a really serious moment that passes between them. These two have been friends for fucking ever, and they like really legitimately almost kiss. Like, both of them are aware that this has happened, and then no one acknowledges it for the rest of the episode, even in like, I don't expect them to like have a conversation about it, but like they're not even really super awkward around each other. It's I don't know, it just feels a little bit too intense to me, that both of them were almost there, because I feel like we would have seen something happen soon. I don't know. Those are my 2 cents.
Maybe their short-term memories were completely deleted when a frigging vampire pops up between their heads.
Yes. LaToya and I both gave Xander credit for this fucking punch that he gives this vampire. This is a great punch from Xander. Also noted in my notes, which is where you put things of note, Xander's wearing a Scooby-Doo shirt. Yeah. So, and there's some Scooby snacks, I think. I said it wrong in an episode past. So it's Scooby snacks that are being peppered throughout here. So there's one. Buffy's back, Jenny, and she has new fucking hair. It looks great. I write in my notes, did Buffy originate the Rachel? Because
this is not the Rachel. This is a light, wispy bang.
It's close.
And a extremely bouncy, like, Bob on the long side of Bob.
I just feel like
extremely bouncy.
Buffy bounced so Rachel could run or something.
Rachel has like way more like sculpting.
Layers.
There's like way more of a contour going on in the Rachel cut.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry.
Like the Sydney Opera House. But she's back. Pow, 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 pow. Goodbye, vampire. And because she's like, hi, guys. Miss me? Credits. The whoosh of the crossbow in the credits. Did you hear it?
I didn't. I'll listen for it next time.
Disturbed to hear that. Just absolutely distraught, but thrilled to see that the cat is still in the credits.
Okay, so they've only seen the one vampire. Buffy's like, it's like they knew I was coming back. And this is our first beat of seeing behind Sarah Michelle Gellar's eyes, which are very confident, like everything's fine, that glimmer of everything might not be fine. This is also where I wrote, Buffy just hung out all summer. She didn't have to slay anything. That'll never happen again.
At least she got to do a lot of shopping.
Yeah, she did. So we learn from her dad, and this is, again, Hank Summers has not yet been fully written even as late into the series as the second season, because Hank and Joyce are in her room, and this is where we learn that she did a lot of shopping. The reason she did a lot of shopping is because Hank paid for her to do that shopping because he couldn't connect with his daughter, and he is talking to Joyce about that, about like how he was overcompensating because he just couldn't reach her. He said something that was really resonant for me, which was like, at least when she was burning stuff down, I knew what to say. I thought that was like a really good parent line. Like there's a clear thing you say when your daughter is burning the gymnasium at school down, but what do you say when she just is distant? So he's still a good dad canonically at this point. He's going to be completely rewritten to be a very absent dad in the few other times that we will see him, which are very, very few. I actually looked it up. We only really see him in flashbacks and in visions for the rest of the series. This is the last time we see like Hank in real time. There's a flashback in Becoming Part 1, and then there's a vision in Weight of the World and in Normal Again. But all other mentions of him will be that he is absent. Like, what if somebody got Hank? You know what I mean? What if a demon got Hank? Did we ever consider that?
You know, I don't think anybody's really looked into it, and that is rude. But I was really relieved to see his hair had been grown out a bit. In this episode, since last we saw him, he had sort of like I want to say like a Blink-182 dad, sort of. Like it just like was, he had like very short bangs that like could have very easily been producted up, but instead they were producted down.
Interesting.
I don't know.
Did you know that? So this actor is Dean Butler, and he was on Little House on the Prairie from 79 to 83. He played Almanzo Wilder, like a pretty main character in Little House on the Prairie. So just putting that out there. I definitely watched that show. As with everything else, I couldn't tell you anything about it, but definitely that was a show that was on the television in my childhood.
I had no idea, and I never watched it.
Oh, wow. Well, next podcast, Little House on the Prairie.
Noted.
Little House on the Podcast. Already titled it.
Ooh, Little Pot on the Prairie.
Okay, so obviously Joyce also can't get through to Buffy. No one can get through to Buffy. She's so distant. Guys, fast forward to the end of this season. You're going to wish you had this Buffy, okay? You're going to wish this is the level of sad that Buffy is by the time we get to the end of season 2.
Oh. Okay, here we are in the Sunnydale courtyard. Whoa, of high school. Whoa, the stairs, the fountain. You've seen them before. I was just among them at prom. Cordelia has suffered to a degree none of the rest of us could hope to understand. No. She was forced to go to Tuscany and rendered beachless.
Give me White Lotus Cordelia edition. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Adversity builds character, she says to her Cordettes. Is it possible to have too much character? Like, this is the show. I think that by this moment, the show is really understanding where it's winning. And it's moments like this from Cordelia, and then also Snyder and Giles, okay? Because a duo like these two is absolutely unstoppable. Let's hear a bit of their exchange.
The first day back, it always gets me.
Yes.
I mean, it's incredible. One day the campus is completely bare, empty. The next, there are children everywhere. Like locusts, crawling around, mindlessly bent on feeding and mating, destroying everything in sight in their relentless, pointless desire to exist.
I do enjoy these pep talks. Have you ever considered, given your abhorrence of children, that school's principal was not perhaps your true vocation?
Snydering about.
Every time a pretty girl walks by, every boy turns into a gibbering fool.
Cut to the entrance of Miss Calendar, who has a new haircut as well, I believe.
Now she got some bangs.
season 1, we had Joanna Robinson on, and she was like, you guys should have a segment called Who's Most Likely to Go to the Pump, which is what we named the gay bar in Sunnydale. We never did it. Perhaps the segment will still return to us. But I was like, is this the new Who is Most Likely to Go to the Pump of season 2 when she says, were you headed to the faculty room? Because she's saying, do you want to have sex with me? Like, it's clear that is her intention by asking this question. If somebody says, were you headed to the faculty room like this, they are not asking you about the faculty room.
I thought Giles asked if she was headed to the faculty room.
Whoever asks it.
They're asking. To sex. Listen, Jenny Calendar went to Burning Man. Jenny Calendar is a burner. Jenny Calendar says there were drum rituals, naked mud dances, raves, and mobile sculptures.
I text LaToya, just confirming that Burning Man is white nonsense. LaToya.
I mean,
clearly. Is it white nonsense when your white co-host texts LaToya to ask if it's white nonsense? Also clearly. Double white nonsense.
I just feel like Burning Man is none of my business, and therefore, whatever kind of nonsense it is, none of
You're
my
not
business.
concerned. Giles is not concerned about it at all until the word naked comes up, and where he says naked. Where do you dangle it, Miss Calendar?
All of Burning Man knows. Maybe.
Oh, this is where Jenny Calendar says, will you have sex with me? Returns it because she says, so you spent your whole summer with your nose in a book. And Giles says, you'd consider that frightfully boring. And Jenny says, depends on the book.
Okay, what is the sexiest book to Jenny Calendar?
Probably Vampire.
Vampire with a Y? Not like the Kama Sutra.
I don't think that she would be so on the nose about it, you know? The Joy of Sex. Raise your hand if in your house was a copy of The Joy of Sex. You know what I mean?
What about...
Jenny didn't even listen. It was so none of her business that she didn't even listen to me.
I did not listen. What about... It would require sort of like suspension of disbelief, anachronism. Anachronicity.
I don't even know what you're saying.
Anachronicity.
Can you help me?
Well, it's just like forget that this book came out after this TV series.
Okay.
But what about the like sexy little dragon books that everyone's really excited about right now?
Oh.
Or there's like a fairy, like a man has wings.
Yeah.
And they're very sensitive.
Okay. Yeah.
Run your fingers along the membrane.
Coming soon, podcast where Jenny reviews books she hasn't read.
I just feel like whatever's going on over there, it's called romantasy, Kristin. Even I know that.
Okay, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I think that could possibly... Giles would probably never. Actually, I just felt so uncomfortable. Like, I was about to be like, I wonder what Giles does read to, like, get turned on. And I felt like that's none of... that. I, had the most genuine that's none of my business feeling that I have ever had inside of a pod. That's his business. I don't want to take it too far. Xander calls Giles G-Man. Never again.
That has the opposite of the desired effect.
More Buffy pretending everything's fine. She's alive and kicking. And Giles is like, hey, do you want to train? But like also take a beat. You know, you just got back. Have a moment. She's like, I'm ready fucking now. Let's fucking go. This is honestly, this episode I would like to posit as one of the most Faith Lahane episodes that exists for Buffy. She is straight up channeling Faith Lahane in this episode. From
when she was Bad Girls.
Yeah. When she was Bad Girls, exactly. So, training montage. This reminds me. I probably said this in the first run, but I'm not sure. When she's like, "I'm ready. Whatever they got coming next, I'm ready." Is giving serious Saved by the Bell. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. I'm so scared. Energy.
Yeah, worth noting this is Christoph Beck's first episode, and this sort of like hair metal training montage music is really... He's showing his range this episode.
I cannot wait to get to the last scene in this episode.
I agree.
It's really something. I literally turned to Buffy and was like, is this the end of an episode of Full House? What has happened right now? Like fucking DJ is putting her arm around Stephanie's shoulder and Michelle is laughing and like the piano is playing. Okay, we go to the Sunnydale Warehouse District. I refer to this in my notes, this location, Jenny, as the Lair House because I couldn't decide if it was a lair or a warehouse, and I thought it was both.
I just called it Vamp Factory.
Oh, okay. That actually has more of a ring to it.
But you're on to something I think that's more accurate.
We meet Absalom, who is sort of this like vampire preacher. There's like vampires really had such a vibe in these beginning episodes of these beginning seasons that I feel like is not that doesn't remain. Like you're just kind of like a vampire or you're not. At some point you don't have to have another personality outside of vampire. But for the first season and this episode too, the vampires, like there's preacher vampire and there's, Drusilla wannabe vampire also in this episode. But we learn that the anointed one is kind of like leading a charge of vampires. And Absalom is preaching to them. Within 3 days, a new hope will arrive and the anointed one will show us the way.
Can't believe the anointed one is still here.
I
can't. In
my mind, he arrived season 2. So the fact that he's still here and was in season 1 is unbelievable to me.
You're reading Absalom as a preacher. I was reading him as the COO of the Master LLC.
Yeah, I think it's like he has sort of like a white collared shirt on and like the way that he's talking is like preachy. So that's how I got to preacher with him. But who knows? I write in my notes. So we go to Sunnydale High School, to be specific. And
Couch Zone.
They're sitting in the lounge. And I write California high schools, man, because if you are of our age, you're watching Buffy the Vampire Slayer, you're watching 90210, you're both shot at the same high school. But like it just in my young mind, if you went to high school in California, your life was completely different than mine. A, you had breezeways. B, you had who has a lounge like this in their high school? The space is unbelievable. But turns out it's just that California high schools are on television a lot, and so they get to have fun things. I don't think that California high schools are that different from any other high schools.
Did you go to high school in California? And if you did, were there couches all over the place? Let us know at hello@bufferingcast.com.
A reminder to folks, we are doing Watcher's Diaries now so that we can talk about your wonderful emails in a separate protected space. It's our diary. So definitely send those emails in so that we can share them on our next Watcher's Diary.
I was really hoping, speaking of diaries, that me recently referring to prophecy as God's diary was going to catch on, but it doesn't really feel like it has. So I might just keep bringing it up until I get a little traction going.
Yeah. Okay. So this whole thing, also I should note that this lounge does exist in Sunnydale High School, but this is actually Buffy's dream. We don't get that reveal until halfway through the scene though. And this is I think in a lot of Buffy the Vampire Slayer of the series dream sequences, you can really like tell that it's a dream from the jump. And this one is very hidden. You really think they're just in the lounge. Buffy's saying she's been having weird dreams, but otherwise she's totally fine.
Willow and Xander pull out a snack from their respective backpacks. Willow has an apple. Xander has a granola bar. They look at them and instantly throw them to each other, trading snacks. That to me is the first clue that it's a dream, because I just feel like Willow would prefer an apple.
Well, and in Buffy's unconscious, right, there's like a part of her that has seen them as like old friends, like they know each other so well. Where does she fit in? Right? It's a good call, Jenny. Dream detective, Jenny Onions.
Who, me?
Giles comes over and they have a brief exchange, and then he says, "I've killed you once. It shouldn't be too difficult to do it again." I write, Anthony head is too believable here. And his face is so terrifying as he's killing. He's putting his hands around Buffy's neck. Giles is going to kill her. He is disguised. Giles is the disguise for the master. Buffy pulls off his face very Scooby-Doo to reveal the master underneath. Yeah. And Xander and Willow are just like chomping on their snacks, smiling as this all happens.
It's chilling.
Now, first lesson, I think, if you don't want to have horrible nightmares, at least start by not sleeping on your doily pillows, okay? Because that will give anyone nightmares. You're sleeping on a bit of, what do you call it? Tatting when you make a doily? Does it get tat? You tat
You are asking the wrong
guy?
person.
Well, it's just not good to press your face on something like that for 6 to 10 hours, depending on how long you're sleeping. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it looks like akin to if you had a bag of Tostitos and you emptied it into a little rectangular dish and then you lay your sweet little head down on it. That looks... What?
Jenny is off the rails for the start of season 2.
What are you talking about?
A doily! And you've summoned a bowl of Tostitos.
It's so bumpy, and so are Tostitos.
Shout out to Buffy's gorgeous silk pajamas. I'm sure we've said it before, Angel walked so Edward Cullen could fly. I mean,
oh my God.
He just appears in her fucking window.
She's asleep.
She's
asleep and he is inside.
This is
peak
Angel hair. If you haven't listened to our companion podcast, Angel on Top, that aired when we got to season 4 of our first coverage, you should. And the logo is pulled from this Angel hair. This is like a dome of Angel spiky hair right here.
Oh, yeah.
Let's hear these two. What do they have to say? What do they have to say to each other?
So is this a social call? It is kind of late. Or, well, it is for me anyway. What is it for you, lunch hour?
It's not a social call.
So let me guess, that means grave danger. Gosh, it's good to be home.
I'm sorry. I wish I had better news.
So, some of your cousins are in town for a family barbecue, and we're all on the menu.
The Anointed One. He's been gathering forces somewhere in town. I'm not sure why.
Guess I'll find out soon enough, huh?
You don't sound too concerned.
I can handle myself. Besides, I could use a little action anyway.
Don't underestimate the Anointed One just because he looks like a child. He has power over the rest of them. They'll do anything for him.
Is that it? Is that everything? You know, because you woke me up from a really good dream.
Kristin, I feel like you left out the most important part, which is that they missed each other, and I bet that Angel is right outside that window, listening, straining, squinting his ears with his super vampire hearing to hear Buffy say that she missed him.
I almost used this as I'm Kristin Russo and I missed you. I almost used that as my open. Love that Angel says it first. And Buffy protects herself though, because she says I missed you, but she also puts a question mark at the end. And so it's unclear if she's saying I missed you too, or did you say you missed me?
I think it feels very clear to me that she is saying I missed. The sentence that is starting out of her mouth is I missed you too. But when she turns and sees that he's gone, the you transforms.
Do you think that he threw himself out the window the way that he did in the episode Angel and we just didn't get to see it?
No, he has he never has done anything so undignified before or since.
Needle drop, Alison Krauss. So I came very late to Alison Krauss. The Alison Krauss and what's his name?
Robert Plant.
Plant. And for some reason, Leonard Cohen was the only name that could come to my brain. Robert Plant and Alison Krauss is how I learned of Alison Krauss, that collab. So I was like, wow, she had a whole situation in the 90s with Union Station and what have you. This is a pretty big placement, I think. Jenny, music expert, would you say so?
Yes. Yes, I would. To the Summers Jeep. Joyce is worried. Buffy's not talking. This is a classic teen daughter, adult mother standoff.
That'll never happen to me and my daughter.
Yeah. Nor me and my son.
Cibo Matto is going to be at the Bronze, Jenny. How exciting. Wow. Wow, wow, wow.
This is exciting. I feel like you left out an important fact, which is, of course, the dichotomy. Not everything is about kissing. Some stuff is about groping. Those are the two sides of the line in any given scenario.
Yes, they're at their lockers talking about the dichotomy between kissing and groping, none of which happened, of course, between Angel and Buffy. I love this outfit on Buffy. She's got like a high sage pants with a white tank. She's looking great.
Cordelia rolls up. Oh, look, it's the Three Musketeers? Question mark.
The Three Musketeers were cool, Willow says. This is a really cute, like, they're folding Cordelia into the Scooby Gang, right? Like, we all know that Cordelia is a Scooby, and she's getting folded in the way that only Cordelia could get folded in. She's giving them, like, a dig, and then they're sort of calling her on the lack of, I don't know, accurateness in her dig, and she actually knows about the Three Musketeers, too. She wasn't not aware of it, but she just meant because there's three of them. And she says, you guys, remember that thing that happened? And they're all like, whatever. We don't talk about that out loud at school. Willow already got in trouble earlier in the episode for saying vampires very loudly in the hallway. But Cordelia says, I wouldn't tell people that I spent a night with you, and then gets kind of serious and is like, I'm talking about that master guy and the screaming, and like, I don't even like to think about it. Your secret is safe with me. And she's for real. She is like very much for real with this. And then Buffy is so mean, Jenny.
Oh, no.
You won't tell anyone that I'm the Slayer, and I won't tell anyone you're a moron.
Uncalled for? Unnecessary? Unprecedented?
Yeah. And Willow picks up on this immediately. She's like, this is not Buffy. Like, I've known her for long enough to know that she's a lot of things, but as she says to Xander at the Bronze, she's never been mean.
Maybe someone swapped bodies with her.
Stay tuned for a future episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh my God, let's go to the Bronze because Cibo Matto is playing, Kristin.
Cibo Matto is playing. I did not know Cibo Matto in the days of the 90s. Were you tuned in to Cibo Matto at this time?
Absolutely. It has, so weirdly, okay, here's what I learned when I went down a little bit of a Cibo Matto rabbit hole getting ready for this episode. I've always thought it was interesting that in this episode they play first a song called Spoon, which I know from an album called Stereotype A that came out in 1999. And then they play Sugar Water, which came out on an album called Viva la Woman in 1996. I was like, why are they playing a song from like their record that's like, you know, well over a year old, and then a record that doesn't come out for like 2 years? And what I learned today, forgive me if I'm the last one to discover this, but in between Viva la Woman and Stereotype A, they released an EP called Super Relax, which I think has like 5 versions of Sugar Water on it, plus an early version of Spoon, plus a live song and a cover and some bits and bobs. Super Relax was, okay, so the 2 women in the band, who the band founders, are Miho Hattori, who's singing, and Yuka Honda, who's next to her playing keys, I think.
And wearing a great watch.
And they're the founding members. They rip. So great. Super Relax in 1997 was the album where their lineup sort of solidified. They added Timo Ellis and none other than Sean Lennon, son of John Lennon and Yoko Ono. So you see, he's on stage at the Bronze as well.
Oh my God, I didn't know that at all.
He became romantically entangled with Yuka Honda. I don't know if that predated his joining the band, or I don't know what the order of events was, but he and Yuka in love, all of them in a band together. He also put his first solo record out in the 97
Sean
and 98.
Lennon did?
And Sean Lennon, yeah. And then, like, Miho Hattori is featured on it. Timo Ellis is featured on it, I believe. And then Yuka Honda is the inspiration for that record.
Mm-hmm.
What else can I tell you about Cibo Matto?
Well, what happens? Do they break up and the band fall apart, or do they stay together? I'm interested in the romance.
I don't know what happened with the romance. Cibo Matto is Italian for crazy food. Oh, yeah, that's something I should tell you is that Viva la Woman, the songs on Viva la Woman are mostly concerned with food. Songs are apple, beef jerky, sugar water, white pepper ice cream, birthday cake, know your chicken, artichoke, the Candyman. Know your chicken is sick. It's like, I know my chicken. You've got to know your chicken. And birthday cake is awesome. Sugar water is, of course, awesome. What was the last thing that I wanted to tell you about Cibo Matto?
I don't know, but I'm learning
They
so
went on
much.
a hiatus. When did that? They were active 94 to 2002. Then they kicked it back into gear 2011 through 2017.
Same members?
Basically same members. Oh yeah, Viva la Woman was produced by Mitchell Froom, who produced a couple really great Suzanne Vega records. Mitchell Froom's very cool. I feel very confident that we talked about this the first time around. So if you're listening to our old episode and our new episode back to back, I apologize for repeating myself. For those of you who are not doing that, or who could benefit from this information, let me tell you that Sugar Water, oh my God, the music video for Sugar Water was directed by Michel Gondry, and it's a split screen music video where in one screen, Yuka Honda, and in the other screen, Miho Hattori are moving through the world around them. And at the midpoint of the music video, they meet, they cross each other's paths, and then continue on their way. And it's so sick.
That is amazing. I don't know if you said it in the first run, because I've never seen the video. And I mean, I would have thought that I would have watched it with such a trailer for it here, but who knows? I'm going to watch it now, and I'm going to put the link in the show notes for you guys in case you haven't seen it either.
Shut up and eat.
Okay. So Cibo Matto playing at the Bronze, amazing. Willow putting ice cream on her nose again, not great.
So embarrassing.
Oh God, I melted into the ground
couch
with embarrassment. And this is fucking rude of Xander, because of what I said earlier. That moment was a real moment that they shared in the cemetery. So regardless of what else is happening for Xander, it is very, very clear why Willow is putting fucking ice cream on her nose. And so the fact that he's just being completely obtuse about it, rude. I don't like it.
Look, we have all shared or almost shared a kiss with a boy who would rather be kissing someone else and had to deal with the repercussions thereof.
Every boy that I ever kissed only wanted to be kissing me, Jenny.
Okay. While Cibo Matto is burning it up and down on the stage at the Bronze, across town in the cemetery, all of the little vampire minions are burning their little fingies, clawing the consecrated dirt. I love that Absalom is like, don't just stand there, dig, and then proceeds to just stand there.
I write in my notes,
real management vibes.
The vampire crew is digging up the master's bones Thaisa style. Is that appropriate?
Thaisa digs like that.
But yeah, I just really was summoning both teen and adult Thaisa from Yellow Jackets here. Okay, so the fact that, first of all, Giles buried the master's bones, not with Buffy, but with Xander and Willow, and they were all wearing robes, and I feel like it's worth noting.
I'm so mad that we didn't get to see it.
I know. Second of all, the way they protected this was by consecrating the ground, and we learned in this scene that all that does is, per Jenny's point, burn their little fingies as they dig.
Also,
they could have used
none
a shovel.
of them thought to bring a shovel.
Right.
I guess you got to be. It's like in Jurassic Park or in documentary videos I recently watched at the Natural History Museum in Seattle of people excavating skeletons of dinosaurs. You have to be very careful. You don't want to say accidentally smash the skull with a sledgehammer, because that would render the revivification ritual moot.
Yes, so they have to dig with their little fingies, and at some point we don't get to see it, but I'm sure they have a little like brush as well where they can brush away the dirt from the bones. Yeah.
Okay, then back at the bronze. Cibo Matto's busting out sugar water. They're like, the velocity of time. La la la, trip hop drums. Angel hears the song kick in and is like, my cue. It is my cue.
I think we both used the transcription of the episode when we're taking our notes and things, and I could not stop laughing because they'll include the lyrics for whatever song is playing in the transcription. So it would be like a line that someone said, and then Cibo Matto, la, la, la. And it like repeated, it had all their laws in the transcription. I thought it was lovely.
Listen, I'm concerned about the rotator cuff health of Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Seriously?
She is rolling that shoulder like there's no tomorrow.
Yeah.
Girl, you are young. Eventually, you're going to want to you got a lot of punches ahead of you, for one thing, in this show. But then plus you're going to be like a parent. The punching and being a parent are, as far as I'm aware, the two biggest wear and tear items on the rotator cuff list.
To the listeners at home, Jenny Owen Youngs has been rolling her right shoulder for the entire time that she was delivering that.
I'm just seeing if I can infuse the podcast with a sexual energy.
Notably, the rotation looks that she's at the physical therapist, not like she's on the dance floor. But
I think I would argue that Sarah looks a little bit like she's at PT. If there's something about it that feels like extremely adult, like an older woman.
Yeah.
And I'm curious about where this move came from, where she saw it, is this Joyce's move?
I think, and okay, so yes, that's the in-universe conversation, but I think out-universe, the reason that I think this sticks out so much is just because the edit probably should not have included so much of this move.
Yeah, she probably did a bunch of different things, but for some reason, the way that they cut it together, they're like, I guess we're getting all the shoulder roll moments. Oh, well.
Yeah, exactly.
Buffy gaslighting the shit out of Angel. Did you ever think you would see the day?
No, he's so upset about it.
I'm not angry. You must have a problem. There is no us. I've moved on to the living. Okay, Kristin, when Willow says, "What's wrong with Angel?" and it cuts over to David, his look is he just looks so bothered.
He is so bothered.
I know that it's like what's happening here is serious, but
it gets you.
That feeling when you have no choice but to spite dance with the guy who likes you that you're not interested in.
Oh, God, I hate this dance. Mostly because, I never want to think about Xander or his boner, but, you can't watch this scene without being like, Xander for sure has a fucking boner.
I know. She leaves him so exposed upon this dance floor.
It's really rude on so many levels.
I mean, and it's very upsetting to cut both to Angel's continuously upset face and then Willow looking so sad. And did I ever thank you for saving my life? Sorry, let me get the shoulder going. Did I ever thank you for saving my life?
Careful, Jenny. If you don't stop, I might want to marry you again.
Don't you wish I would? Okay, my last note before we go into the alley is I love that the bronze has an egg chair.
Oh.
And that Angel is standing next to it. Kristin, after we divorced, I moved into what I affectionately refer to as my divorce cottage in Glendale. And very nearby, a very like specific niche pop-up bar opened in Glendale, actually directly across the street from the Antaeus Theater Company, which is run by Harry Groener and Armin Shimmerman and their wives.
Wow.
Directly across the street, they're opened a pop-up called the Electric Pussycat. Perhaps you're familiar with this name from the Austin Powers universe. It was an Austin Powers themed bar.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. It looks like it might still be open.
Wow.
It was supposed to be a pop-up and then it like stayed open for a while and maybe it still remains. Okay, just imagine green shag carpet, imagine like psychedelic floor patterns. Imagine a bunch of those egg chairs suspended. Imagine a DJ booth that is the front half of a Volkswagen Bug.
Whoa.
Mounted on, jutting out from the second floor. Okay, actually it is permanently closed, RIP.
Oh, wow.
But,
they really went for it.
They really went for it. It was they also had like a lot of like alcoholic milkshakes was kind of their thing.
That's probably why they closed. Because, Jenny,
maybe
you can have like 2 or 3 old fashions, but like how many alcoholic milkshakes can you drink? You know what I'm saying? It's a one and done.
I have yet to find out because I haven't found anybody who makes a non-dairy alcoholic milkshake, but I'd love to find out, actually. I'm dying to find out. I want that so bad for myself.
Oh, my God. Wait, also, before we go to the alley with Cordelia, I also have a note, and it's mostly for investigative research by our listenership.
Okay.
There's a blonde boy who is dancing at the Bronze, and he is like so prominently featured as they pan around Xander and Buffy, and he is just dancing his ever-living ass off, and I want so badly to learn who this boy is. I want to find him. So I'm putting it out into the ether. If you can figure out who this blonde dancing boy is, please. Hello at Buffering.
Kristin wants to be healed. Kristin feels the budding pangs of heterosexuality blooming in her chest.
I mean, listen, I'm not sure that this boy either is feeling the pangs of heterosexuality.
I see.
Okay. All right.
You just love him.
Outside the Bronze, this is the sound clip we opened with. Cordelia continuing to fold into the Scooby Gang here. She says that Buffy's really campaigning for Bitch of the Year. Bitka of the Year, if you will. She
is. Bitka of the Year. As defending champion, are you nervous? I love these two. I can't wait for Homecoming.
Oh, I know. Also, sorry. The way that Buffy is dancing, shoulder shimmying aside, I also wrote in my notes, is practice for Faith. This is very, very much how she's going to be dancing when it's Faith. And we're going to like it a lot more than we like it here.
I can't argue with that.
Thank you.
Support for the show comes from Factor. Make this your best season yet with nutritious 2-minute meals from Factor. 2 minutes! How long does it usually take you to make a meal? 10 minutes? 20 minutes? 30 minutes? Think about all of the things you could do with all of those minutes you could reclaim when you just heat up and enjoy a Factor meal. You could catch up on listening to your favorite podcast. You could do a bunch of push-ups. You could go outside and smell a flower. Smell a bunch of flowers. You're getting so many minutes back. No matter what you're getting up to, Factor can power your day with satisfying breakfasts, on-the-go lunches, premium dinners, and guilt-free snacks and desserts. It's easy to savor more this spring because Factor meals pack in the flavor with none of the fuss. What was my favorite thing I ate from my most recent Factor box? Thanks so much for asking. It was the Thai almond chicken with roasted sweet potatoes and ginger, sesame, green beans. Thank you very much. Delicious. Get started at factormeals.com/buffering50off and use code buffering50off to get 50% off plus free shipping on your first box. That's code buffering50OFF at factormeals.com/buffering50OFF
for 50% off, plus free shipping.
If you've ever shopped online, and let's face it, who hasn't? Chances are you've bought something from a business powered by Shopify. You know that purple Shop Pay button you see at checkout? The one that makes buying so incredibly easy? That's Shopify. And there's a reason so many businesses sell with it, because Shopify makes things easier, and not just for shoppers. They make it easy to start and run your business. Shopify is the commerce platform behind 10% of all e-commerce in the US, from household names like Mattel and Gymshark to brands just getting started. It gives you a leg up from day dot, with hundreds of beautiful ready-to-go templates to express your brand style so you can get up and running fast. You can tackle your important tasks, from inventory to payments to analytics and more, all in one place. You can also spread your brand's word with built-in marketing and email tools built for you to find and keep new customers. And remember that iconic purple Shop Pay button that's used by millions of businesses around the world? It's why Shopify has the best converting checkout on the planet. Your customers already know and love it. If you want to see less carts being abandoned, it's time for you to head over to Shopify. Sign up for your $1 per month trial and start selling today at shopify.com/realm. Go to shopify.com/realm. Shopify.com/realm.
ChatGPT Plus is free for college students through May. Here's the thing. You've got a lot to do between now and then. Studying for finals, writing papers, trying to keep your life on track. And ChatGPT can help with all of it. It can quiz you for your econ exam, make a study guide from your French notes, plan out your meals and study breaks. It can get really specific on how you like to learn. It can even help you come up with ways to stop procrastinating. So from now until summer break, take advantage of all the ways ChatGPT can make your life easier. Restrictions apply.
Thank you.
Listen, spank your inner moppet. Joss Whedon, go to jail. Go directly to jail. Do not pass go. Do not collect $200.
It's just that he means, well, I don't know what he means, but Cordelia means, like, deal with your inner trauma. It's just that spanking and mop it together conjure something else.
Yeah, something that none of us desire.
No. Joan Collins is referenced in Cordelia's rant, whatever's causing the Joan Collins to deal with it. Really getting us 90s style here. Cordelia says, I'll just see if Angel feels like dancing at the end of this exchange, and then gets grabbed by vampires. And it's like, you know what? Angel does feel like dancing. Stay tuned for the television series. Da-na-na-na-na-na. And you guys can dance.
What was that song that you just sang?
It was the Angel theme song. Ba-da-na-na-na-na.
Oh, sorry. I was hearing the notes. Like, I was hearing the bar starting in a different place. You know what I mean?
You know, not all of us can be musicians, Jenny.
And none of us actually should.
Cordelia sees that Miss Calendar is also down in this lair house.
Dude, you know that we only see them take Cordelia because whatever Jenny Calendar was up to when they kidnapped her most likely could not be shown on network television. Based on what we've learned so far.
All right. Buffy sees that the Master's grave is dug up. Oh no. She looks terrified. She thinks she sees him. She has like a vision of him in the cemetery. Mark Metcalf just getting like tiny little, having to do all this makeup for the tiniest scenes. Although I have a memory of like them shoot, like, did they shoot this before the start of the second? I just have like this, I don't know, foggy memory of maybe them doing some of this stuff before Mark Metcalf was done with season 1, but I don't know.
I'm not sure. I don't remember.
I'm probably just making that up.
He doesn't speak at all, right?
No. Oh, so maybe it's not him.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know how much you could fake when you put the facial appliance on.
Yeah.
It's got to be the right shape face underneath, I would think, to look right.
These are things that will make people angry with us for.
Are you mad at us?
For not knowing. But you know what?
Are you mad at us?
Good. It's good to have a healthy amount of conflict in your relationship, so.
So true.
All right. So in the cafeteria, Willow and Xander are discussing this whole situation with Giles. And basically Giles is like, Willow and Xander are like, she's possessed, right? Something has possessed her. This can't be Buffy. And Giles astutely is like, actually, I think something else is going on here, and observes that, like, she went through a very traumatic experience, and this is probably her dealing with her issues. Issues. Giles,
I just feel like you could. I mean, listen, I'm not here to like tell anybody what to do.
I just don't think. I mean, tell us if you are from the UK. Where's Giles from? Is he from London proper? Devonshire?
York?
Is this Manchester? Do you say it this extremely? Issues. It feels extreme.
Are we overlooking the possibility that she may be very attracted to Xander?
I mean, this is said as like a joke because he's like, oh, clearly she's possessed. But like, Xander isn't an attractive boy. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, I know that like she doesn't have feelings for him, but I just feel like it's not as like wildly out of the realm of possibility as it needs to be for it to be a joke that would like land like this,
Yeah, and you don't need to be like ready to fall in love with someone to just go roll your shoulder at them for like 5 straight minutes.
Either way, Buffy walks in and they do a real Scooby job of covering this up with Willow saying, "Trout, you were telling us about trout, right? Giles, trout, a fish. Yes."
Yes, definitely.
And Buffy says that the master is gone, explains that his bones are gone, and she says she knows they're going to bring him back, and she's so fucking mad at Giles that he knew that this was a revivification spell was possible. She snaps at Willow when Willow tries to sort of like participate in the conversation and says, "This is Slayer stuff."
I did not like that at all.
No.
That's so mean.
Snyder saves us from having to deal with this horrible conflict and sends them all on their way to do their jobs in Giles's case or go to class in the Scooby's case. And we get another wonderful exchange between, I mean, this is like Anthony Head and Armin Shimmerman are just both incredible actors. So on top of like their characters having a wonderful dissonance and just like rapport in that sense, these actors are just tops, just absolute tops, giving us these exchanges. And so it starts with Snyder saying, "Some things I can just smell. It's like a sixth sense." And Giles is like, "I think that's actually one of the 5. Yeah. But he says, like, basically he can smell trouble. He smells on Buffy Summers. He smells expulsion and just the faintest aroma of jail. Giles is like, "Hey, have you ever heard of fucking Dr. Gregory and giving your students the benefit of the doubt?" And Snyder is like, "You really have faith in those kids, don't you?" Giles says, "Yes, I do." And Snyder says, Weird. I want to take a moment for LaToya's production notes here because she says it's time for some fun, hard quotes, fun instances of foreshadowing and setups for how things shake out this season. And this is one of them. Snyder smells, quote, trouble, expulsion, and jail for Buffy. But we do know that Buffy is not going to make it through the school year. Joyce saying, "I'll just be happy if she makes it through the school year." Oh, no. And jealous. Okay, so penultimate episode of the season because it's in part 1. And jealous saying to Buffy, "And you fall for it every single time." This line hits even harder when you remember that Angel in this episode had a front row seat to Buffy falling for the same kind of bait and switch trap. Giles saying that was hardly the worst mistake you'll ever make. LaToya, thanks for jinxing her, Giles.
Oh my God.
Anyway, foreshadowing, Also, LaToya wondering if Giles is Snyder's best friend.
Yeah. The Zach Morris to his Screech, as she says.
2 Saved by the Bell references in one episode of Buffering the Vampire Slayer.
We're ready for it.
You love to see it. Okay, so we learn in the library that to revive the vampire, you need their bones, which honestly, this is why it's probably so hard to revive a vampire, because 9 times out of 10, there are no fucking bones. The whole thing dusts. So that's a perk of, no one has yet written into us. We asked you all to let us know what you thought the sort of like scout badges that you needed to get on your way to old vampirehood are. Like, what do you need to accomplish to get to keep your bones when you're dusted? This is a really good motivation for getting those badges on your way to keeping your bones as a vampire, because if you keep your bones, then you might be able to be revivified.
All you need is some followers.
Exactly. Just some followers and a couple people to be close to you when you die. And that's what we learn here. Well, we almost learn it. We learn that you need the bones, which they have, and that someone connected to the vampire, you need their blood. And if you have those things, you can revivify. I'm just going to say that word as much as I can because it's just delightful.
Totally. No, and you deserve to.
Thank you.
They're just getting to the point where they wonder what's next when a rock with a note tied around it comes flying through the window. I feel like not enough people are tying notes to rocks these days to communicate where the bad guys have their captured good guy.
This really got me, Jenny. I feel
like this would be a text. On TV now.
You don't need a rock anymore. This is what's sad about today's society.
Unknown sender.
I
would actually, Kristin, I'm going to send you a text right now. Hang on a second.
I literally just looked at my window in panic. Jenny sent me a text of 2 emojis. It's the rock emoji and the pencil writing on paper emoji, which is today's version of throwing a rock through my window. And then she sent the text, "Come alone." Jenny, apart from missing rocks and notes wrapped to rocks being thrown through windows, I just really want to see the footage of the vampire who was like, okay.
I've got a plan.
A rock.
Should
and
we
then,
go
like,
to the
let's
school?
get Cordelia's bracelet.
Throw the rock. When the Slayer leaves, we'll count to 1,000. So that we know she's all the way across town at the Bronze. And then we'll go in.
And they're all out there like 1,000.
Smart
2,
of them
1,000.
to be like, we don't want to face the Slayer. That is smart.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, the Drusilla wannabe vamp, which is what I call the one that's at the Bronze, really picked the short straw. She got left behind to deal with not only Buffy, but also Angel. All right, so the Scoobies, before she leaves, the Scoobies are like, this is a fucking trap. Willow is like, this is a trap. And Buffy is like, I can handle this. And Willow says, stop saying that. And Buffy says, this is my fight. It never goes. Spoilers for Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It never goes well when Buffy says, fuck you, this is my fight. That's never the way.
Every time she does this, I think of a song in a My Little Pony special.
Wow.
That I watched as a child that has somehow burned into my brain. The ponies are at camp, maybe, and they're putting on a musical, maybe. And the pony in question has some kind of falling out with her pony friends, maybe. And she's like, I'll go it alone. And every time Buffy huffs away to do something by herself, I'm like, she'll go it alone.
Can you please?
Have I looked up this song in the last 38 years?
Can you please find it for us, please? Like, find it and we'll put it, if we can find it, we'll put it in the show notes. I would like to watch it later.
Oh, yeah, it's here.
Okay, great. Meanwhile, it's amazing to me, Jenny, that in the scene in the library, the last line is Buffy saying, this is my fight. And you're like, this reminds me of a song. And it's from My Little Ponies. And then in the next scene, we're outside the Bronze, and Angel says, you need someone to watch your back. And Buffy says, you mean my neck? And I say, this reminds me of a song I know called
My Neck and
what
My
is
Back.
It called? My Neck, My Back? two very different musical numbers.
This is why music is the universal language, Kristin.
Yeah. So
why are you writing me?
Thank you. That's
Angel.
what I was leading up to. Why?
Sorry.
What is going on?
Speaking of ponies.
Yeah. My notes are literally, why are you riding me? And then underneath it, my neck, comma, my back, ... So that's what's happening
and
here.
then, come on, kick my ass.
Right? What is happening? Things have not been this steamy since Faith Lahane got to town and switched bodies with fucking Buffy and found Spike at the Bronze. This is fucking intense. There's this moment here where Buffy says she doesn't trust Angel because he's a vampire. And then she's like, oh, is that the wrong term? Should I say undead American? This is really rooted in a moment of like, oh, I have to be PC. And I'm assuming that this is specifically relating to African American, though there are many things that this could be referring to. And I don't like it. So I would like to just put a pin in that.
Why couldn't you delete that to make more room for lines like, there's the bait, where's the hook?
Yeah, and Buffy's like, shit, as much as I don't like you right now, Angel, you're correct. Why would they only send one vampire? Cut to the library where the vampires are like 99, 100.
100!
They go into the library because the trap was not for Buffy. It was for Giles and Willow because they need the full... Huh?
I said, gulp!
They need the full quartet of the people that were with the Master when he died. Not Buffy. They needed those four. Giles found the original Sumerian. This is the problem. This is honestly the problem with Christianity and probably so many other things. You can't go from the Sumerian to English and travel through Latin and expect that you're getting the proper translation. You were not, and they were not. And so just saying, be careful what you read out there, kids. It's been translated too many times. Okay.
Indeed. I'll go it alone.
So when Buffy gets to the library, it is destroyed. Giles and Willow really put up a fight, okay? Because the chairs are broken. There's books akimbo.
Furniture everywhere.
Yeah.
I was going to say akimbo. Look at us.
Wow. Look at us.
Still got it after all these years. We're getting too old for this shit. And yet...
Jenny, somebody that I know recently read our book and they were like, I loved the book. It was so incredible. And then they said, whose descriptive language was in the book? And I was like, what do you mean? And they're like, well, like who wrote, like who described the cemetery and the apartment? I was like, we both did. Like, just so you know, we both actually wrote the book. We both can use words like akimbo, okay?
Woo! Listen, Xander has had enough. He has reached his limit. He's like, you have left me on the dance floor with an exposed boner for the last time, ma'am.
Yeah, and he has a point. If you'd worked with us for 5 seconds, you could have stopped this. And
we must celebrate when Xander has a point.
Yes, but not the kind that he has on the dance floor.
I know. Kristin.
Sorry. It was like my brain like had to make the joke and everything else in me was like, don't stop.
Yeah, but you couldn't stop yourself. He tells Buffy if anything happens to Willow, he'll kill her.
Yeah. And like he won't because he can't, but it's a noble.
But he would try.
He would try. So at the Bronze, they torture this fucking lady vampire. Buffy is putting her crucifix in her mouth. Whoa.
This is fucked.
It is. It is. It's really
good
intense.
thing she's having a bad week so that we can include this in the sins she's trying to move through.
Yeah, I was going to say that like they don't put a very fine point on it, but it's very much aligned with like her trauma that like we don't see Buffy do things like this generally.
No, this is some like initiative garbage.
Yeah, yeah, seriously. Good point. All right. At the Lair House, they fucking pulley out this quartet. Now, I also had a memory of talking to...
pulley them out.
Pulley them out.
No, I know.
But I have a memory, and I couldn't remember. I think it might actually be from The Wish, because they hang upside down in The Wish, too, right? They're like hanging above.
I was thinking the same thing. Do they, or are they right side up in The Wish?
I think they're
definitely
I think they're upside down,
suspended.
and I think that because I know that we talked to somebody about how difficult it was to shoot this scene because you cannot leave these. And I think it was The Wish, not here, but that's what I was wondering.
Yeah, was it maybe Seth Green that talked about that?
Oh, maybe. Yeah, maybe it was Seth. Either way, like this scene included, right? Like you do have 4 actors who are literally hanging upside down. And, you know, if you know a thing or two about making a television show, it doesn't happen very quickly. And so when you have a scene like this, it's usually very difficult to shoot because you can't keep them. Like if you do need to do like 3 to 7 takes of this thing, you have to give the actors a break so that they're not hanging upside down the whole time. Anyway. Buffy, Angel, and Xander enter. I have Absalom is Absaloming, which I would like to posit as a verb. And then Angel and Xander and Buffy enter, and I was happy to see in LaToya's notes because I had the same thought between Prophecy Girl and this episode. LaToya says you would think that Angel, Buffy, Xander would be more of a trio throughout the series, but I guess since Xander's pretty much eliminated as an actual love interest, the dynamic isn't as quote necessary as one would expect. But I thought like, wow, this is the 3 of them are like really in the finale and the premiere, and then kind of not really a trio ever again.
Were you thinking as you watched this, what a beautiful floor torch? What a gorgeous accent.
I wasn't, Jenny, but that's why there's 2 of us, you know?
It's like if a floor lamp was a torch. It's beautiful, simple yet elegant, understated design.
Sometimes people say, how could you talk about a 45-minute episode of television for 2 hours? And to them I say, this is how, friends.
I mean, I was thinking I've got to check out West Elm and see if they've got any floor torches. And then 2 seconds later, she's using it to light Absalom on fire after he has said, much like the I'll Go It Alone, My Little Pony song lives in my head rent-free, also clanging about rent-free next to it, I'll grind you into a sticky paste. I think that all the time. Mostly when I'm grinding things into a sticky paste with my mortar and pestle, but sometimes other times as well.
It's pretty effective, pretty visual. There has been, just for you at home that don't get to see me, there has been a fucking huge ass fly just like circling my head for the last 10 minutes. I don't know, Jenny, if you've seen it, but I keep seeing it in the Zoom screen.
Oh, yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah,
it's like,
we don't often bring up the movie Buffy the Vampire Slayer in this podcast, but if you recall, in the movie Buffy the Vampire Slayer, she has a thumbtack in her mouth, and there's a fly buzzing about. Yeah, it's pretty sick.
That's pretty sick.
She spits her fucking tack and kills the fly. I would do that, but I have to podcast, and I can't podcast and hold a tack in my mouth at the same time. So,
thank God. So after Absalom goes up in smoke, Buffy does a little, she does some sort of spiritual cleansing via sledgehammer. And this is sort of like the precursor to, what are these rooms called where you go and smash things?
What?
There's rooms where like you can go.
Like an escape room?
Okay, so I feel like they became popular after escape rooms peaked.
Okay.
But you go and you pay X amount of dollars, and there's just like plates and glasses.
I don't know
and
about
other
this.
items that you can just break.
That sounds amazing.
I feel like you
do they
would
just
really
play
benefit.
Limp Bizkit just like on loop?
I mean, if I was gonna go in, that's what I'd be asking for. Okay, the one here in my area is called the break room.
Wow. Is it all made of like sugar water? Sugar, you know what I mean?
Oh, Rage Room. I think Rage Room is the official name. Let's see.
But it must be like it's sugar glass, right? Or what is that called? Like that they use in like theater.
Rage rooms may include living room and kitchen replicas with furnishings and items such as televisions, desks, small appliances, and decorative items, including earthenware and glassware. Clients may be allowed to bring their own possessions to destroy.
Whoa. Wow. I mean, I'm all for like cathartic release, but I just wonder sort of like where we're headed as a society if we are paying to go into a room to break our own things that we could have broken in our own home.
Did you think we were headed somewhere good, Kristin?
No, it's just that every day I realize how not good. You know what I mean? It just keeps clicking up. Jenny, I am shocked and appalled that you have not brought up how small this skeleton is, because it fucking kills me with the overhead shot of the skeleton. And I understand why, because I have a full-size skeleton in my house right now. His name is Ricardo, and actually my cats have started napping in his lap, which is incredible. But he's full-size plastic, and this skeleton had to be made of something that you could like basically bust up with a sledgehammer. So I understand props department. I'm not trying to like drag you, but it's just so funny to me because the master is this like large and looming evil figure who's going to end the world. And then his skeleton is teeny tiny on the table.
Tiny, just a little guy.
What you didn't know about the master, he was mostly skin, you know? Very small bones.
Uh-oh. After every good sledgehammering comes the inevitable cry against my unboyfriend's chest.
This is really what I was talking about this at the top of our episode, which is like this family is being forged. Season 2, episode 1, by the end of the episode, Buffy is smashing these bones and sort of processing her trauma. And we don't just get that. We get a cut to Giles watching her and Willow and Xander watching her. This scene that follows where they like immediately bring Buffy back into the fold because they have an understanding and a forgiveness. This is like, I'm crying as a person who loves this series, right? Maybe in 1997, when you're watching this for the first time, you're just starting to get these threads to come together. But when you've seen the whole series and you understand where we're headed, this is cry worthy because they already have these bonds of family where they care for each other so deeply, and they're witnessing Buffy's trauma in a way, because we talk about the Slayers a lot, and that the thing that makes Buffy stand apart from the Slayers before her is that she has friends and chosen family. These are the moments that carry her through, right? She wasn't going to be able to make it through this without having these witnesses to her pain. And it's just very beautiful. And we're only at episode 13 of the series. So
I actually love this show. I don't know if I have ever told you that.
Yeah, you've mentioned it. And I'm really glad that you do, Jenny, because without you loving the show, I wouldn't have been able to love the show because I wouldn't have watched it.
So it's all because of me, actually.
Yes. Yeah. One single set of footprints for the last decade. Also, don't forget, the Scoobies welcome Buffy back in the classroom scene set to... It's not Vanessa Carlton, but it's a piano solo.
A very special episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer piano ballad.
Yeah.
Kristoff just figuring it out.
Listen, and that's fair, because he will actually figure it out quite well, in fact.
It is like, even though it doesn't feel, like the perfectly realized execution of this musical idea, it is still like, and we're back together, and it's gonna be okay.
Yeah. Also, I really wish we got more Cordelia and Jenny Calendar in the universe, because what a pair. Cordelia, of course, explaining to Miss Calendar how the worst part about like fighting apocalypses is that you cannot get the fucking stains out.
This is what I'm always saying.
Yeah.
Same with podcasting. Just can't get the stains out.
And the episode ends with a one-liner from the Anointed One. He's looking at the shattered bones of the Master, and he just says, "I hate that girl." Who is that girl?
Oh my God, right? I just can't believe that little Colin is here.
Still here. Everyone else died. Not Colin. Still standing. And actually, Latoya makes a pretty good point in her notes. I imagine, she says, the fact that Buffy isn't the one to kill the Anointed One is because of the optics of the Slayer killing a, quote, child. Goes down easier when it's bad guy Spike. Can't wait till that Sunnydale sign. You know what? Somebody should go and warn the Sunnydale sign. It only has a fucking episode left before it's going to get blasted down to smithereens, okay? So pay your respects now because that sign's going to be gone real soon.
Listen, they'll put it back up after, right?
They will. So we did it. We talked about another episode of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. We have started season 2. You know, they grow up so quickly, Jenny. You know, it's like one day they're just season 1, hyenas and fucking ventriloquist dummies. And now here we are, season 2.
Before you know it, they're trying to figure out how to navigate their lives post-trauma and move on.
Yeah, yeah. The next episode that we cover is called Some Assembly Required. So, you know, there's still some stuff we have to work through. But hey, like I said, School Hard is just an episode after that. So we're getting into some good shit here. And I'm very excited to do it all over again with you, Jenny.
With me? Jenny Owen Youngs?
Yeah, with you,
and
Jenny
I
Owen
with
Youngs.
you, Kristin Russo. And hey, speaking of my name, let me tell you that I am Jenny Owen Youngs. And when I'm not watching Buffy, I'm making music. You can find all of my music on Bandcamp or your favorite digital music platform or your local record store. And hey, you can give me a shout on socials at Jenny Owen Youngs. You can also come look at me in the flesh while I play music. If you're listening to this episode in real time, starting tomorrow, May 8th, I'll be in Vienna, Virginia. May 9th, I'll be in Philadelphia. May 10th, I'll be in New York City. And at the end of May, I'll be in Saratoga Springs, New York, Shirley, Massachusetts, and Tamworth, New Hampshire. So come say hey. Tickets and info at jennyowenyoungs.com.
Wow. I can't wait. I'm going to go to jennyowenyoungs.com right now.
Oh my God. Buy some tickets. Kristin, of course. Wish I could get you on the guest list, but all my slots are taken up by my best friends.
I am Kristin Russo, and when I'm not buying tickets to see Jenny Owen Youngs play music, I am working with and for LGBTQ plus communities. Getting closer and closer to Pride Month here in June. I do a lot of talks at workplaces, most of which are virtual. So if you work at a place and you want your coworkers to learn how to be better, either to their coworkers or to their kids, I do a lot of talks about being a good parent to your LGBTQ plus kids. You can find out all of the information you need on my website, KristinNoline.com. We're also doing some fun queer horror movie watches. I saw the TV Glow, I think, was last month, and we have a pretty fun list ahead of us. So come join us. Have a good gay time. Oh, and follow me on social media if you want. I don't really care. At Kristin Noline.
Buffering the Vampire Slayer is on socials at BufferingCast, and you can always email us at hello@bufferingcast.com.
You can support our work. I actually do really care about that. Join us on Patreon, patreon.com/bufferingcast. We have a lot of really fun things that happen over there. A lot of group watches. There's a really fun Discord channel. If you're into Facebook, there's a pretty active secret Facebook group. It's just a really wonderful community. So come join us, hang out with the community, plus know that you're supporting this podcast because we are independent. Oh, and I know another way you could support us. Jenny, we wrote a book. It's called Slayers, Every One of Us, and we should probably tell you that we wrote the book, just in case you don't know. The New York Times reviewed it, and they liked it, so maybe you'll like it too. We worked really hard on it. It's a memoir about the 6 years we spent covering the 7 seasons of Buffy for the first time, and we're very proud of it. So go buy it.
You can read it with your eyes, or you could also listen to it with your ears.
Mm-hmm. It's true. 2 of your 5 senses.
You could probably experience it with a sixth sense, but I don't really know anything about that because it's none of my business.
You could lick the book too and taste it, technically.
Lick the book. Lick the book.
What are the five senses? Taste, smell, sight, hearing. What's the fifth one? Touch. Touch is the fifth one.
Oh my God. Wait. What a podcast. This episode was produced by Kristin Russo somehow, Jenny Owen Youngs, and LaToya Ferguson, with support from our consultant, Mackenzie McDade. It was edited by Kristin Russo. Until next time. Woo!
I just feel like we don't talk about what they are very often. You know what I'm saying?
When it was done, I went away. Ba-ba-da-ba-da. Left my friends behind and tried to forget. Now I'm back, it's all the same. Ba-ba-da-ba-da. Nothing new except this dark inside me. I'm made of stone. If you don't wanna get hurt, then you gotta be harder than the thing that's hitting you. If you don't wanna get hurt, then you gotta be harder than. If you don't wanna get hurt, then you gotta be harder than the thing that's hitting you. If you don't wanna get hurt, then you gotta be harder than. Ooh. None of them can understand. Ba-ba-da-ba-da. I don't need them, I can handle myself. But it's lonely where I am. Ba-ba-da-ba-da. Now I'm feeling like I can't see clearly. Don't leave me alone. If you don't wanna get hurt, then you gotta be harder than the thing that's hitting you. If you don't wanna get hurt, then you gotta be harder than. If you don't wanna get hurt, then you gotta be harder than the thing that's hitting you. If you don't wanna get hurt, then you gotta be harder than. Got so wrapped up that I forgot about protecting you. Now we're here and I see clear that you protect me too. If we don't wanna get hurt, then we gotta be harder than the thing that's hitting us. If we don't wanna get hurt, then we gotta be harder than. If we don't wanna get hurt, then we gotta be harder than the thing that's hitting us. If we don't wanna get hurt, then we gotta be harder than.
Well, how about that?
I love this song. I forgot about this song. This song fucking rocks.
I completely forgot about the bridge. That was a angelic jump scare for me listening through. But I think that like it's so early in the catalog, you know. I really had not started doing very much arrangement beyond, you know, one or two instruments and some voices. And I think this is a song that like I can hear like, oh wow, yeah, I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do arrangement wise, but I knew that I wanted the verse to feel like you know, kind of thing. And I wanted the chorus to feel more like half-timey, thing that's hitting you, you know, kind of thing. And the way that that's executed with just the guitar, like it's, you know, its thing. But I as the me in this situation, I'm just like, oh no, I hear all of the things that like I would have done if I like knew what to do at the time. But I do feel like when we were in Torrance, in conversation, I was in Torrance and you were sort of like a looming god figure on a gigantic screen. And then Joanna Robinson was in person with me in Torrance, and we were all talking about the book. And there was, I think, an audience question that was like, what's a lyric where you feel like you really nailed it? And I felt very put on the spot, and I do not like to, tooting my own horn is a thing that is a problem. No, it's a hard thing to think about doing and to commit. But I think that I wish that I had the wherewithal at the time to think of a good lyric and say it. But I vow solemnly here in the post-episode song chat as we go forward to highlight when I'm particularly proud of a lyric. And I think that if you don't want to get hurt, then you got to be harder than the thing that's hitting you. Like I really like that idea. I'm quite fond of that lyric and proud of it. And you know, and also you hear like sorry, Kristin, I'm really like just plowing here.
No,
but,
I love it.
I think that the ba-ba-da-ba-da is like that's definitely like not specifically those notes, but like ba-da-bas are like a big part of my musical vocabulary, and I like finding vocalizations that like fill in the cracks or like are like a lily pad to get from like one section to the next. Or like, you know, it kind of serves as like a little refrain, as like a little melodic hook without like taking up lyrical space. And also has this sort of like, to me, it has this like carefree energy that like Buffy is trying to exude. She's like trying to be so nonchalant in this episode and failing so miserably because she is so wounded.
Yeah,
you know?
I think that like that is something that you did so well in the song, is like captured her like her own lack of awareness of what she's moving through. Like you can hear it in the lyrics that she's pretending, right? That she's pretending. And that's very cool. I also am going to remember this song now associated with this episode because Cibo Matto is in When She Was Bad. Cibo Matto's lyrics to Sugar Water are much la la la's. And so Ba Da Ba is aligned with the la la la's from Cibo Matto. That's how I'm going to remember.
As I was like scanning through the lyrics of that Cibo Matto song, I was wondering if you were like reading dialogue that was like, oh, I'm going to do this by myself, or don't you wish I would? And then it's like, a woman in the moon is a singing to the earth.
I also think, and you saying, Jenny, that you know, there are things you wish you had done differently. I mean, clearly, probably anyone feels like that when they go back to something that they created.
My whole life. Yeah. Go on.
But hearing this song, and I can't. I mean, I don't remember anything, but it feels to me like we knew at this point, because Prophecy Girl had been written, Angel had been written, right? Songs of like real, I don't know, songs that could exist outside of the universe of Buffy had been written already at this point. And I think coming into season 2, that was a weight that you specifically were carrying. And if you weren't carrying it, I was making sure you were carrying it. You know what I mean? Like this. Now we've already made these really good songs. We have to hit that bar. And I just feel like sometimes looking at the series, the television series, and what they're doing, and then looking at what we were doing at the time, there's this like really cool alignment. And like, you know, Buffy comes back season 2 and she's like, okay, we're here. She's like, Joss is like, the production team is like, the network is like, okay, we're fucking doing this thing. And I feel like we entered season 2 like, okay, we're fucking doing this thing, you know, like this is not just going to be, you know, simple 2-minute songs all the time. Like we're really going to sit down, and Jenny specifically, you're really going to sit down and like put something together that has layers. So
who me layers?
You and Cordelia.
Yeah.
Can you actually change your personality if you want to? How does peer pressure work, and why is it so powerful? Should you ever really trust your gut when you make a big decision? These are just a few of the topics we've recently covered on my podcast, Something You Should Know. I'm the host, Mike Carruthers, and each episode of Something You Should Know covers multiple topics that are likely relevant to you. You'll discover things you can use in your life today, right now, like how to have a great conversation, how to be more courageous, the anatomy of the perfect apology, and much, much more. To date, there are over 1,000 episodes of Something You Should Know, and we've gotten over 4,000 mostly 5-star reviews. I invite you to check out Something You Should Know. Look for the bright yellow light bulb on the blue background. Something You Should Know, wherever you listen to podcasts.
Welcome to Gotham, Jimmy. It's not as bad as it looks.
DC and Realm present...
Our vigilante, or Batman, as he's called, possesses extraordinary physical skill.
DC High Volume Batman. Fear. I have to make them afraid. I shall become a bat.
Look there. What the hell?
The Dark Knight's definitive DC Comics stories.
He's got a motorcycle. Get after him or I'll have you shot.
Take him down.
Adapted directly for audio for the very first time.
Thinks he's a damn Robin Hood. He dies.
Looks like it's just you and me now, Phil Cooney.
Hit the floodlight. It's showtime. New episodes every Wednesday. Follow and listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Batman hasn't attacked anybody. What do you mean, blow up the building?
From this moment on, none of you are safe. DC High Volume Batman. Available now.